Page 23, March of the Triplets. On page 22, they're introducing you to a rhythm pattern called a triplet. Things just got more interesting. A triplet involves 3 notes. So really you're playing 3 notes in the same amount of time you'd normally play 2 notes. Therefore the notes are going to go a little quicker, that's all. At the top of the page they show you different counting patterns. That different teachers use different patterns. It's what's comfortable to you. What works for you is what counts. I use a counting pattern that's different than all of those. I don't use any of those. So on theirs, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You're feeling that. Bum, 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 bum. You want to feel 3 beats per beat, 3 notes per beat. Bum, 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 bum. And then they also say triplet quarter, triplet quarter. So because you're going back and forth between the triplet and the regular 2, we call duple, triple and duple time. And piano players have to be able to do this, but we get it so much, we do it often. So triplet quarter, whatever. Then they also do a 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. That to me is confusing because I'm using numbers on the beats. I don't want to use numbers in between them. Then they also go 1 triplet 2, 3 triplet 4. Since I do 1 enda on the 16th notes, I simply leave out the E. It's 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda, 4 enda. Or I could go 1 enda, 2 and, 3 enda, 4 and, 1 enda, 2 and. I can go back and forth there too. And that's what I teach, the 1 enda, 2 enda, 3 enda type counting. Again, you got to use whatever is comfortable for you. Then they get warm-ups at the bottom, but I prefer to use the piece. So let's talk about this March of the Triplets in the right hand, because that's where the triplets are. Common time, 4/4 time, no sharps or flats, or in the key of C major or A minor. If you look at the end, and the end in this piece is at the end of the 2nd line. You see the thin and thick bar line? That's what I'm looking for. That's the end of the piece. I'm ending here. C major, it's close enough. C major. Right hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and like so. That's really about all it is. As long as you can get that feel of a 3 in there, you've got it. So let's go back and look at these notes a little more carefully because they're a little trickier. So you're in this position. Then going on, they want your 3rd finger. Yuck. However, I'll come back to it. Just leave it there for now. And then jump down to the 3rd line. You have a 1 beat rest at the end of the 2nd line to give you time to move. So you're down here. Now we're in A minor. And they do that fingering again. Ugh. Last line here, and then the left hand gets to play triplets too. Isn't that nice? Left hand has these chords, root position, you're moving around. Just lowering the hand each time and let the wrist flex a little bit. Don't play with a stiff wrist. You want to eventually get where you can do this without looking at the keyboard. Just feel this going up and down, 1 key. This is good practice. And then at the 3rd line, you get a 1 beat rest to come down here. You're doing the same thing, but down here. Then the last line, the last 2 measures, you're here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 type thing. Put the hands together and hope for the best. Here. Go as slow as you gotta go. Just here. Make sure you play these rests. Be quiet on those notes. So forth, let's go down to the last line. You're here. It doesn't sound right, but that's what's written. 1 and type thing. Then when you got that sort of, you can add the articulation. The staccatos, a nice light wrist staccato. Some people call it a hand staccato, or the wrist staccato, whatever. Just flex at the wrist lightly. Now the triplets are not staccato, just the quarter note thing is. So the trick here is, can you play legato and staccato at the same time? Because you're doing different things in the hands. Ugh. So that quarter note in the second measure is not staccato. You got to hold that out till beat 4. So it comes up when you play the chord in the left hand. And this is where we get away with this silly fingering they've got here. Because it's staccato, you can do that. That's, hold that out until beat 4 when you play that last chord in the left hand. Then you raise the right hand. So let's go down to the third line here. It's the same thing here. It's just go down the last line. Now I would recommend on the last 2 measures, connect the last note in the triplet to the E. Connect them here. Here. So don't cut that last note in the triplet short. Don't play it staccato. Connect it to the E. Now we try and be accurate when we're doing these. There's one little thing I want to point out, and that's the last measure of the second line. Here. Articulation. But the left hand, you got to hold that down until beat 4. It comes up on beat 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, when you do that, the left hand is staccato. After the left hand plays its third beat, there's a little bit of time where the right hand stays down because beat 3 isn't over yet. You got to wait till beat 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you come up. So there's just a little bit there. Be accurate. People tend to want to up at the same time. And that's incorrect. Don't do that. It's an interpretive thing. I mean, technically it's incorrect. You might interpret it that way. It's okay. I don't know. Dynamic wise, they're starting out loud, and that will be the right hand, the melody. Keep the left hand light. And then toward the end of the second line, you can crescendo up to a very loud. Don't get very loud until the last measure of the second line, though. So take your time. There's where you're loud. And then when you go on, you got 1 beat of rest, and now you're quiet. That's the right hand. The left hand has to be very quiet. At the end, at the bottom, the last line, third measure, you're getting soft. Very soft. Both hands. It's all melody here. They're all the same. And then when you go back to the beginning, the DC, for the DC al fine, you're loud again all of a sudden. So, speed, it says alla marcia, which means as in like a march. Well, left, right, think of a marching band or a parade or something. That's how fast these will go. Eventually, you play it slowly at first and gradually speed it up. You can't have any wrong notes. You can't have any hesitations. So you work on it and work on those spots until you work all that out. So you can play the whole thing smoothly, and then you can gradually speed it up. I'd like to play it with you very slowly. I'm not doing dynamics. I'm just going to do notes and rhythms and the articulation, the staccatos, just to make sure you got the right notes and rhythms. I'll give us 4 counts. So let's do it together. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2. rest. To the top